Hi, this is J-Dog with WTDTA Radio, and today I just want to basically discuss with you some facts. A lot of facts concerning the present state of our economy, pretty much what's going on around the globe, what's actually to be looked out for within the next 5 days, especially with a lot of folks revolving around the December 21st, 2012 situation. And for those that are listening to me for the first time, everybody that kind of knows what's up and what's happening really understands that there's a lot that we need to be paying attention to. But I'm going to point out some facts. The fact of the matter is, in order for you to really understand and know what's up and what's happening and where everything is going, you first got to know where everything started. And there's so many different areas or aspects of this conversation that we can actually take and go through this whole spiel. But I'm going to kind of fast forward just for a second and kind of get your mind state to a point where you can really evaluate the situation. Fact. We'll start with something that actually will really wrap your mind around our present state right now, which is the War Powers Act, or the Trading with the Enemies Act of 1917. A lot of folks do not realize that this act has never been repealed and is still in effect today. And if you don't know what the War Powers Act is, then you definitely need to pay very close attention to what I'm going to recite to you verbatim, so you can really get a chance to understand and know what's up and what's happening. Since March 9th, 1933, the United States has been in a state of declared national emergency. Under the powers delegated by these statutes, the President may seize property, organize and control the means of production, seize commodities, assign military forces abroad, institute martial law, seize all control over transportation, communications, regulate all operations of private enterprise, restrict travel, and control the lives of American citizens. And a lot of folks, that sounds kind of far-fetched to some who truly believe that there's no way that the country that they love, all these different things that have took place, there's no way that this could actually be real. But under our present state of being, so to speak, this is not only alive and well, this has been implemented to a level of perfection. Because it's been evaluated and brought into a standpoint or a level of perfection, you have to understand and know that the powers that be are on an all-out hunt to solidify their position as the New World Order. This situation has continued absolutely uninterrupted since 1933, March 9th to be exact. We have been in a state of declared national emergency for nearly 63 years without knowing it. According to the current laws as found under 12 U.S.C. Section 95B, everything the President or Secretary of Treasury has done since March 4th, 1933 is automatically approved. The actions, regulations, rules, license, and orders of the proclamation hereto and forementioned have taken and propagated and made are issued by the President of the United States or Secretary of Treasury since March 4th, 1933. The pursuant to the authority conferred by subsection B and section 5 of the Act of October 6, 1917, as amended under 12 U.S.C.S. section 95A, and is hereby approved and confirmed, which was done on March 9th, 1933. Section C, Title 1, Section 148, Stat 1. On March 4th, 1933, Franklin D. Roosevelt was inaugurated as president. On March 9th, 1933, Congress approved in a special session his proclamation 2038 that became known as the Act of March 9th, 1933. But it as being enacted by the State Senate, House of Representatives in the United States of America, and Congress assembled, that Congress hereby declares that a serious national emergency exists, and that it is imperative and necessary to speedily put into effect these remedies of uniform national application. This is an example of the rule of necessity, a rule of law where necessity knows no law. So this rule was invoked to remove the authority of the Constitution. I'm going to stop right there. Again, what you're hearing, again, is not my words. This is actually law. And for all y'all that don't know, and those that really do, I've been a political prisoner for a very long time. Unfortunately, the only way I had to kind of learn this is from firsthand experience by dealing with a system and understanding the writing on the wall that none of us are truly really able to initially accept. It's just like being in the Matrix. When Neo was first searching for Morpheus, and Morpheus finally found him, and he revealed to him the truth about the world and the real world. The more Neo heard, the less he wanted to know. But one thing about the truth, it's still the truth no matter what you do to it. They put into effect a statute that will remove authority from the Constitution. Therefore, it gives them a license to do a lot of the things that you're seeing today. A lot of American citizens literally became the enemy of the United States government under this declaration. And according to the correct memorandum of the American cases and recent English cases of law of the trading with the enemy, we have no personal rights at law in any court, all rights of an enemy. In other words, because they have this war on terrorism, because they have all these different things that are taking place, a major change took place that they are further invoking. So every commander-in-chief that you actually see that comes along after this is only one more implement into this new world order, into this structure that is going to totally rob us of the last existing levels of sovereignty. Understand the word sovereignty is being targeted by many because they do not truly want you to understand that all power is still with the people. But because the people now believe in a system, they're going in one direction, not understanding that that road leads them to a road of demise until they really figure out that they must change their status within this system and understand and know that the rules are written in opposition. You got to understand that during the time when the Constitution was actually put together, it was not put together in a time of peace, but in a time of war. And because it was put together in a time of war, it is to be interpreted not as democracy, but under martial law. And we wasn't at war with a foreign enemy. This was a domestic enemy. It was the people. They was afraid that the people would eventually figure out that they have lied to them. And so to protect the governmental sovereignty, they placed into effect the Trading with the Enemies Act under the War Powers Act. And this act is to be defined and regulated to punish those that were enemies of this system. This act originally excluded citizens of the United States, but in the act of March 9th, 1933, Section 2, it was amended to this, that any person within the United States or any place subject to the jurisdiction thereof. It was here that every American citizen literally became an enemy of the United States government under the Declaration. And according to the current memorandum of the American cases and recent English cases, this is now law. This is what you're seeing. The only way we can do business on any type of legal trade is to obtain permission from our government by means of license. So who initiated all these emergency powers? Again, the abominable Federal Reserve. On March 3rd, 1933, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York adopted a resolution stating the withdrawal of currency and gold from the banks and have created a national emergency. The Federal Reserve Board is hereby requesting to urge the President of the United States to declare a bank holiday Saturday, March 4th, and Monday, March 6th. Roosevelt was told to close down the banking system. He did so with the proclamation of 2039 under the excuse of alleged unwarranted hoarding of gold by Americans. In other words, time was up. People figured it out. They wanted their money back. They no longer wanted to be a slave to the system. Then with this proclamation of 2040, which he declared on March 9th, 1933, the existence of the National Bank Emergency Powers Act, whereas all proclamations hereto and hereafter issued by the President pursuant under the authority conferred by Section 5B, the Act of October 6, 1917, as amended, are approved and confirmed. Once an emergency is declared, there is no common law, and the Constitution is automatically abolished. We are no longer under the law. The law has been abolished. We are under the system of world war powers. Our stocks, bonds, houses, land can be seized as Americans as considered enemies of the state. We were, and we have, and is under the War Powers Act given by the President, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the military war machine. Whenever any president proclaims that national emergency has ended, all war powers shall cease to be in effect. Congress can do nothing without the president's signature because the Congress granted him these emergency powers. For over 60 years, no president has been willing to give up this extraordinary power and terminate the original proclamation. Americans are enemies subject to tribunal, district courts, under martial law, War Powers Act, wartime jurisdiction, a constitutional dictatorship. That kind of sounds very far-fetched. But all I say is look around and ask yourself, really? Most people do not understand about the War Powers Act and the Trading with Enemies Act of 1917. But when they look around and they listen to all the promises and speeches and they look within the last 10 years and you see where we have come from and where we are, ask yourself, could this true? Could this too be true? Could this too be something that we can do anything about? The solution is this: unless you declare sovereignty to the system, and until you understand that sovereignty is freedom, but until you change your mind and your perspective of what's going on around you, you will forever be under the jurisdiction of this war powers machine to legally extort you as a human capital because you are a human resource. Your birth certificate has linked you to a system that has made you expendable. You are now collateral. You have been traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And these people no longer want the US dollar anymore. They want their collateral.
And knock down the Obama deception and, overtly censor us. But now, this is what they're doing. They are holding back this video, Obama caught fake crying. We've also gone on separate computer networks and voted the video up and then hit refresh and it doesn't have the thumbs up go up. But then we've gone on another network and voted down and it instantly shows a down vote. So they're also skewing viral videos that we have so that I guess it takes 5 votes that are probe, I guess, to count as 1 nay vote. And they only do this on viral videos because you can go to one of our videos that's not viral that say has 20,000 views and you can click and vote and it will show the vote instantly when you hit refresh. But not the case when you go in here. I just noticed how their little tricks work. Some people think they're censoring when it says 305 views, but you've got 1,000, likes. Now, that is a caching issue that hasn't updated yet. But we have found them doing things like this. So they do not want you to see Obama caught fake crying. The Drudge Report called the video, "The fix is in." Alex Jones, "The fix is in. They're coming for our guns." They do not want you to see that video. Your call's coming up.
Millions of people are going to get sick this winter from colds.